Let me start with a little something about myself. I like more wieldable devices. I'm someone who's still bummed out about Sony's discontinuation of their compact line. Now, if you're thinking, what compact line? Or given Sony's market share, what's Sony? Exactly. I'm that guy. I'm also the guy who's been holding on to his Galaxy Tab S6 since the new 11-inch Samsung tablets do not come with AMOLED displays. I like AMOLED and I don't want to go up to 12.9 inches just to get that. Hell, I'm even still holding on to the Galaxy Tab S2 and the Sony Xperia Z3 tablet compact. These are the lightest 8-inch tablets ever made, but ones that also happen to have been made almost a decade back. So the 14.6-inch monster of a Tab S8 Ultra, there's no way I'm gonna like it, right? At least that is what I thought going in, till Samsung changed my mind. Hey guys, my name's Ash, you're watching C4 Tech, and welcome to my full review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. Let's get started. Given what happened with Samsung over a year ago, I now don't get review units. And given Samsung flagships also happen to be very expensive, I tend to pick and choose what I cover. The Tab S8 Ultra, in my head, it was just too big, not worth it. But then I saw MKBHD's video on it and that had me intrigued. Maybe I should try it? Now thanks to 28mobile.com, who beat it up, happens to be the sponsor for this video. If you are looking to buy any phone or tablet that's not available in your market, then 28mobile.com is a good site to check out. They are quick to ship, very reliable, and offer professional support. Now I'll leave a link to 28mobile in the description below. Do check them out if you haven't yet. Now anyways guys, thanks to 28mobile, I managed to finally get my hands on a Tab S8 Ultra, and as I started to use it, the voice in my head, it grew louder. You're gonna hate it. It's too big, it's too bulky, it's way too expensive. And some of that is still true. Oh yes, it's expensive, nothing's ever gonna change that. But what did change is how I felt about it. The moment I turned on, that display, looking at MKBHD's video, that is what had me intrigued initially. But I don't think any camera can do it justice. I've seen large OLEDs before. Remember the Gigabyte Aero 15? Now that's a 15-inch OLED panel, 4K nonetheless. But there is just something about having this huge a display in the tablet form factor, something that's almost all screen. The sleek form factor, the super smooth 120Hz refresh. Guys, even if you never actually buy this, if you're in a mall, if you're in a store, just go take a look at it in person. The display, it's quite something. Theoretically, it is not the brightest panel you've ever seen. It's only covered by the older Gorilla Glass 5 and it's not even the sharpest screen around. Don't get me wrong, the resolution is a very respectable 1868 by 2960, but given it's spread over 14.6 inches of OLED goodness, the pixel density is nothing special, 240 pixels per inch, which is lower than pretty much any phone launched in the last 4 or 5 years. And yes, that includes the iPhone SE as well. But for a tablet, it works. Watching movies on this in bed, I felt like I was playing a game with cheat codes on. Watching a movie on a portable device should not be this good an experience. But on this, it is. Now, you can't really talk about watching movies without talking audio. Samsung's gone with a quad speaker setup on the Tab S8 Ultra, and the moment I heard the output, I was actually disappointed. And no, it's not because the speaker's bad. Now guys, you know how we say things like it's bad, it's good, very good, it's great. Now this speaker setup, it's not just good, it's actually great. But after seeing the screen, the bar is just set too high that everything else that comes after, it's gonna be a disappointment, relatively. Now, my weird way of putting things apart, the media experience is wonderful on this beautiful, beautiful piece of hardware. Samsung has also provided microSD support, the lack of which is one of those things that I really hate about tablets these days. Now, the way things are going right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Samsung started to remove support, with the Tab S9 or the S10. But for now, microSD is there and the product, it is better for it. I have a 1TB card in it that I use mostly to store ROMs for my retro gaming, which reminds me, given the SoC on the inside, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, emulation, playing retro games, or even regular old Android games on this tablet, it's just amazing. I didn't think I would end up doing a lot of it given the size, and I still never ended up playing stuff handheld, but being able to stream or just play the best games available on Android on this screen with this level of performance, it was an excellent experience. Do note that given how slim this thing is, the performance is not going to be at the same level as on phones with the same SoC. It's just 5.5 millimeters thick after all, but it's still excellent for pretty much everything you'd want to run on it. Of course, given the 726 gram weight, you aren't going to be holding it in hand and gaming for extended periods of time. Now here's where I want to point out one thing I love about Android in general. Adding a non-standard controller, as in a controller that's not from Sony or Microsoft or marked MFI, pairing one of those to an iPad is difficult at best, impossible at worst. On Android, on the other hand, it's very simple, and that openness is something I ended up utilizing to the max. From a software perspective, there's not really a lot to talk about with Android or One UI. I mean, by this point, I'm sure you've heard it all before. But that's where Samsung's DeX mode really shines. Under DeX, the interface, it transforms, it gives you more of a desktop-ish experience. Everything opens in Windows, you can have multiple apps open at once, drag them around, play around with the transparency. It still has some teething issues, like some apps don't refresh when the focus is off them, but it's come a long way in the past few years and it does justice to that huge screen. While it can be triggered without a keyboard, the keyboard is sold separately after all, it does tend to work better with that keyboard trackpad combination. Now the keyboard add-on is pretty expensive, but like I said in my MateBook E video, I love what Samsung's done here. It's a two-part add-on, it sticks to the back via magnets, and then it connects to the keyboard via the pogo pin. So even when you don't need this keyboard, you still end up with a back case that adds to the grip, provides you a kickstand and some kind of protection for your super expensive tablet. That's not something you can say with Apple's Magic Keyboard. Now, while you can't use this handheld for a long time, you still can use it handheld when you need it. For example, if you want to sketch or take down notes, now there is a S Pen included. You can either place it to the back where it charges, but alternatively, if you just need to put it down temporarily, there's a magnet up top which holds it in place. Yes, it's right here. Now this S Pen, it has 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity. The palm rejection is quite accurate. Overall, the experience of using a S Pen to take down notes or do whatever you want, it's quite nice. With cameras, you get a pair of 12 megapixel shooters with varying field of views up front. They're great for Zoom calls and whatnot. Pretty detailed, they offer a good range. Now to the back, there's a dual camera setup. The primary is 13 megapixels and then there's a 6 megapixel ultra wide. Nothing too special, but for a tablet this size, at best what you're gonna do with these is, scan documents. And for that, it shouldn't be an issue. Now, if you were wondering how I could talk selfie cameras without really talking about where they are present, this notch, well, to be honest, as I was writing the display part of the script, I totally forgot about the notch. I mean, the most noteworthy thing about the notch here is the hypocrisy in Samsung adopting it after how they made fun of Apple for the same in the past. And that's not even the most hypocritical choice they've made with the Tab S8 Ultra. That would be the decision to not include a charger in box. So basically, after making fun of Apple for removing the included charger with iPhones, they followed suit and have now beaten Apple to the punch with tablets. So yes, if you buy an iPad Pro today, you get a charger in box. With the Tab S8 Ultra, you don't. Which reminds me, with a 45-watt charger, which is the max this supports, the 11,200 mAh battery on the inside takes about an hour and a half to get from 0 to 100, which felt okay to me given I only had to charge it every 3-4 days. Typically, my usage is when I'm in bed. I read comics for about an hour or watch a few sitcom episodes before I go to bed every day, and the standby drain is very low. So the battery life, I'd say it's quite excellent. Anyway, back to the hypocrisy. We can talk about that all day long, but that doesn't change the fact that the end product that Samsung's put together here, it's kick-ass. The Tab S8 Ultra is probably the best tablet ever made. Now, there is an argument to be made with the iPad Pro being better in some ways, so I'm going to rephrase just to avoid going down that Apple versus Android rabbit hole again. This is the best Android tablet ever made, might even be the best overall. And of course, the best is going to cost you a lot of money. And the Tab S8 Ultra's pricing is nothing if not ultra. Samsung picks and chooses which variant to launch and where. Now, the $899 price tag on the Wi-Fi model in the US, that's great value in my humble opinion. In some markets like India or China, the options are pretty limited and the value, it does drop. But overall, if you want the best Android tablet ever made, you're gonna have to fork out a lot of cash. Now the big question is, would you need one? If you like streaming or natively playing games with controller support, or if the media experience is very important to you, and you also happen to have a light workload that can be handled, with text, then the Tab S8 Ultra is an obvious choice if you've not noticed it by this point in this video, I absolutely adore mine. So any which ways guys, that's pretty much my take on the Tab S8 Ultra. Now let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below, and while you're down there, thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about the video. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. And I guess that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.